Music is one of the most important things to consider when creating a great game. Good music can set the scene, it can elevate emotions, and it can guide the player's senses as they travel through this game's world. Now, of course, there are tons of great game soundtracks out there. The entire Halo series comes to mind right off the bat. Undertale has a nice, weird soundtrack. Last of Us really wrenches your heartstrings. It's sad. Witcher is alternative and a different take on the classic fantasy route. Basically, all Nintendo games have solid, happy soundtracks. Fallout actually makes me like old-style music. World of Warcraft is great, but that's kind of unfair because they have 7 expansions worth of music. Minecraft just immediately wrenches me back into my childhood. I'm 12 years old sitting on the couch in my room playing Minecraft with my friends. I mean, sometimes I like to just go back and relive those moments. Now, you might say that music is an art form and art is subjective, so there can't be a definitive best one, which is a great point, but how can you be so sure? The soundtrack meshes so well with the gameplay that you can't have one without the other. I can listen to the entire thing and be drawn in the entire time. The music just invokes the beautiful, story-filled world of Skyrim in a way that just paints a picture in your head. The first time I played this game, the music actually gave me goosebumps, and I might just be weird, but I think there's something there. Now, I'm sure you're still unconvinced at this point, so let me provide some evidence. It comes down to 3 main things: atmosphere building, situational timing, and good sounding. First up, we have atmosphere. If you've played Skyrim before, you have to know what I'm talking about. If you don't understand, I mean, you might be deaf. If you haven't played Skyrim, first of all, what the fuck, dude? It's 2019. I'm talking about the feeling you get when you're just walking around the world. Atmosphere is what makes Skyrim so good. They built a world and somehow they made it come to life. When you walk down the road towards Riverrun, it doesn't feel like you're just walking to a destination, even though that's quite literally what you're doing. It feels like you're walking through a world. There's wildlife around you, there's travelers on the road, everywhere you can see there's places with actual depth for you to explore. And holding your hand through all of this is the music. The final track on the Skyrim soundtrack album is just 42 minutes and 38 seconds of what they call Skyrim atmospheres. And that perfectly embodies what this game is all about. It's the final piece in the puzzle that gives the world of Tamriel a tangible yet ethereal texture. And although there isn't a massive orchestra following you around, and yes, it would be more realistic to have no music at all, Skyrim's soundtrack manages to add rather than interfere. It doesn't distract despite its excellence. It's perfect. Next up, timing. I don't know how the developers did it, but they always know how to pair the right song with the right moment. I swear to God, every time something unique happens in Skyrim, they're playing the best possible option. But seriously, I didn't notice until I was studying for finals, blasting the Skyrim soundtrack just to keep my sanity. Every time I would play a song, a scene would play in my head. It would play Far Horizons, and all of a sudden I'm walking out of a dungeon near Dawnstar. We'll play A Winter's Tale, I'm in an inn, resting by the fire. Streets of Whiterun, I mean, you guessed it, It's honestly witchcraft. They pair orchestral moods so well with the storyline, atmosphere, and general vibe of the gameplay at any specific time that it worries me. I know some of it is scripted, but there's a certain creepy magic to it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime perfection in my personal opinion. The game and the soundtrack are inseparable. Now to my final point. It just sounds amazing. There really isn't a point with any substance beneath the surface level. I mean, this whole video isn't supposed to be an epiphany. It's not exactly a new opinion. There are tons of people who love this soundtrack. It's meant more as a celebration. The soundtrack is pleasing to the ear. I don't know enough about music to understand why, but go give the soundtrack a full listen through one day. Do it while you're studying, do it while you're doing chores, especially if you've played the game before, you'll find yourself immersed the entire time. As I said at the beginning, game music is one of the most important parts of creating a great game. And Skyrim is certainly that. It's a great game. It's right up there for my favorite game of all time. and I'm sure it's the same for many others. Its graphics and story and world building are all outstanding, but I don't think it would have had the same widespread critical acclaim if not for the soundtrack. I mean, as critics say, it's the best thing Jeremy Soule has made since Magic School Bus explores the world of animals. But I feel like in 2019, we needed a reminder. If we could just pause and take a listen through the soundtrack, or just hop into the game for a few quests, I bet you'd find yourself blissfully relaxed. I mean, maybe it's just me, but Skyrim, despite its monsters, is a happy place that I can escape to. That wouldn't be possible without the music. And that's why, objectively, and you can't refute that, Skyrim has the best game music of all time.